It's never easy. It's never easy to be a football fan in the sense of evaluating preseason football. It's never easy. I wish that the National Football League would stop the charade and end preseason football once and for all. If you want longer, periods of time where teams are practicing with one another, I think that would provide the opportunity to do that. No preseason games ever. I'm not a fan of it. I haven't been a fan of it for a very long time. The NFL has kind of stepped back and made it from 4 weeks to 3 weeks to 2 weeks, whatever it is now. I don't even know, to be honest. I don't even care to know. I don't watch it. I don't want to watch it. And I believe it's 3 weeks. And I don't want to watch it because it's not good football. It's sloppy football. And even the best of the best players on each team are not going to play well because they're not prepared to play how they play. They don't prepare to play how they play. They don't game plan for the opposing team's defense. And they don't want to show the NFL what type of plays they're running. So it's essentially a glorified scrimmage in which players can get hurt. So what is the point in doing that? Coming out of the mic hot on the microphone, whether it's you tuning in on Apple Podcasts or you tuning in on Spotify or any of the other audio podcasting platforms, my name is Ryan Thomas, and you're tuning into the Thomas Takes Sports podcast right here, right now. As I dissect the sloppy Buffalo Bills Week 1 preseason game from start to finish that I have watched, yes, unfortunately, multiple times. And along with the fact that this show is sponsored by 26shirts.com, you can go to 26shirts.com and find any Buffalo Bills apparel idea, unique, original, to 26 Shirts' very own Del Reed, one of the best Bills fans in the Mafia, the guy that created the Mafia, no less. Go to that site, find an awesome Buffalo Bills t-shirt, Buffalo Sabres t-shirt, Bandits, Bisons, or just simply Buffalo appreciation on a t-shirt. You'll find it at 26shirts.com. Now, on this podcast, one thing that I have always done, that I always will do, is tell it like I see it. Tell it like it is. And man, there are a lot of reasons for me, coming off of watching that game, to be a little bit concerned about the Buffalo Bills in certain aspects that are not being talked about by most within the podcasting arena, the content creation arena, whatever you want to call it. And listen, my concerns are not where most lie currently. Most are talking about, how's this weaponry going to look for Josh Allen? Who's going to step up to replace Diggs? Who's going to step up to replace Davis? Those guys are already on the team. Those guys are either Curtis Samuel. Those guys are even Dalton Kincaid. Those guys are even Keon Coleman, as well as Khalil Shakir. Those are the 4 guys that are gonna do it. Those are the 4 guys that are the main 4 weapons in the passing game for the Buffalo Bills offense, along with a guy that I do think has to show a little bit more than what he showed last year coming off of an injury in Dawson Knox. He has to stay healthy. He has to show that he's capable, ready, willing, and able to contribute via a pass catcher as a tight end number 2 to Dalton Kincaid's tight end number 1. We saw him do that in previous years prior to the Bills drafting Kincaid. I think he's much better than what he showed last year, and it was a very limited sample size, as I just mentioned, due to that injury that he suffered last season. That was kind of a nagging one, and kind of saw him on the outside looking in with Kincaid's, meteoric rise, I guess you could say, through the offense, and where Kincaid finished, much, much different than where Dawson Knox finished. And for that, it's for obvious reasons, right? So basically, my concerns are not within the offense. To a grand scheme of things, yes, the offense is widely different. The offensive line is different. The pass catchers are different. The run game is different. The only constant is Josh Allen. The only constant is Deion Dawkins. You got Connor McGovern switching to center. That's new. Pass catchers, those are new for the most part, outside of Khalil Shakir, of course, and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. So, yes, there are a lot of new moving parts, but I'm not as worried about how Josh Allen manages that because I don't have many things to worry about when it comes to Josh Allen. There's not many reasons that Josh Allen has given me to worry about him as a player over the last 6 years. Where my worries lie are within the defense. As I saw multiple times in training camp, you lose a Micah Hyde, you lose a Jordan Poyer in the back end of your secondary. You also lose an All-Pro and Trey White due to injury and somewhat aging out due to that injury. There are so many new pieces to this defense. There are many question marks within that secondary that we haven't seen in starting roles, massive starting roles. Bills drafted Cole Bishop. He gets hurt in training camp. He's not really playing safety right now. You got DeMar Hamlin actually starting and looking pretty good, I might add, as a starting safety for the Buffalo Bills. Could quite possibly be the case when the season opens up that DeMar Hamlin will be their starting safety, one of the two. And you could easily make a case that Cam Lewis moving from corner to safety. That's something to keep our eyes out on. That's something that many Bills fans wondered if that would actually happen or not. And it is. And it is. Here we are. And then a new corner crew that I think we haven't even seen the best of it yet. Heading into what is its second year, but is it its second year? Rasul Douglas joined the party late, mid-season last year. He did really, really well. He was a welcomed addition. He did a lot of things right. He was an immediate impact difference maker as soon as he was acquired from the Packers by the Bills. And you got Christian Benford, and you got a corner that was drafted in the first round a couple years back by the name of Kaiir Elam, and he has looked very good to me. I think he's confident. I think he's starting to get comfortable with the transition of the speed of the game. It's a very, very difficult position, one of the most difficult positions in football, especially in today's day and age. So for Kaiir Elam to show what he's shown has been phenomenal, as well as the fact that the D-line, a little bit different. Dwayne Carter expected to take a big role as well. The return of a hopefully healthier Von Miller than last season, as well as the return of the heart and soul of the defense, Matt Milano. When will he be back to his full capacity? It's going to take a little bit longer than, the year, almost a year that it took for him to make that comeback in full swing. We saw that with Von Miller. Took a little bit of time. Matt Milano could take a little bit of time as well. So there's some other guys that are going to have to step up in wake of Matt Milano's, return on the comeback trail. And truthfully, that has me more concerned, as well as the fact that not only does Buffalo have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, not only does Buffalo have a potential NFL most valuable player in Josh Allen, but if Josh Allen, God forbid, heaven forbid, if Josh Allen were to go down with an injury that would put him out for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that could be the difference between Buffalo making the playoffs and Buffalo missing the playoffs. That is how unconfident I am in Mitchell Trubisky being their backup. Now, Bills head coach Sean McDermott announced today that their third-string quarterback is out for the foreseeable future. Nathan Buccelli, if I mispronounced that, I apologize, but here is a player that I truly didn't see much of in training camp, but what I did see was not that great. So if Buffalo wants to be as competitive as they can be, I think they need a better contingency plan at backup quarterback for Josh Allen. I don't think Mitch Trubisky's it, and there's a new rule in the league that says that you can carry 3. Buffalo should definitely carry 3. There's a guy by the name of Ryan Tannehill out there. There's Case Keenum out there, I believe. There's a few veteran free agent backups that I would feel much more comfortable and confident in than Mitchell Trubisky, who lost his starting job in Pittsburgh to Kenny Pickett, who then was traded by the Pittsburgh Steelers as the Steelers just let go of Mitchell Trubisky. Just goes to show you where Mitch is at in his career. You know, not hating on the guy, but he's just not a good backup. He's just not a good quarterback. He was a second overall pick in 2016, 17. He was a first-round bust, and that's the best way to put it. So what do you think, Bills Mafia? Let me know in the comments section below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ryan Thomas. This was the Thomas Takes Sports Podcast.